Copa Airlines Flight 201, the deadliest aviation accident in Panamanian history. A Boeing 737-200 just seems to fall out of the sky above one of the most remote areas in the American continent. What happened on board the flight, and most importantly, what caused it? June 6, 1992, Copa Airlines Flight 201 is boarding at Panama's Tocumen International Airport. The aircraft involved in this accident is a Boeing 737-200 advanced registered as Hotel Papa 1205 Charlie Milo Papa. This aircraft was manufactured in 1980 and first entered service with Britannia Airways before being acquired by Copa Airlines at the 17th of April 1992 as a part of a leasing agreement between Copa Airlines and Britannia Airways. At the time of the accident, the aircraft were a hybrid livery between Britannia Airways and Copa Airlines. But in this simulation, we're gonna have this livery as I couldn't find an accurate one. Anyways, the aircraft had been carrying about 22,000 pounds of fuel, capable of flying for 3 hours and 10 minutes, and had about 2,755 pounds of cargo/luggage, with close to 25,000 pounds of payload on board. On the side of the flight crew, the aircraft was piloted by 53-year-old Captain Rafael Charlos Cial, who had 32 years and 25,000 hours of flying with Copa Airlines, and 25-year-old First Officer Sacero Tejada. In the plane, there are 5 flight attendants, along with 40 passengers. In total, there are 47 people on board. June 6, 1992, 8 p.m. Copa Airlines Flight 201 is boarding at Panama's Tocumen International Airport, preparing for a flight from Tocumen International Airport in Panama City to Alfonso Borilla Aragon International Airport in Cali, Colombia. In the cockpit, First Officer Tejada will be flying the aircraft and Captain Chial will be monitoring the instruments. At around 8 to 8:30 p.m., the aircraft had left its gate and taxied to runway 21 left. At 8:37 p.m. local time, Copa 201 had took off from runway 21 left. 10 minutes later, at around 8:47 p.m., Captain Chial had made contact with Panama City Control, asking for weather information along their planned route, which would take them over the Gulf of Panama. The controller had reported to the flight crew about an area of very bad weather at around 50 to 80 kilometers from where they were currently. Then, at 8:48 p.m., Captain Chial made contact with the ATC again, requesting for a different route which would take them over the province of Darien. Then, 1 minute later, Captain Chial had reported to ATC that they have reached their cruising altitude of 25,000 feet. After a few minutes, at around 8:54 p.m., it may have been reported that the aircraft was having problems and requested a return back to Panama City. Although, at 8:55, problems really emerged after finishing the diversion from the storm, and they started to get back on the course to Cali, in which the altitude display indicator, also known as an ADI, started displaying false data to the pilots. By occasionally freezing and not frequently updating due to a short circuit, the pilots got confused by this, as when this happened, the aircraft had been showing in a left turn, even though the aircraft was completely level at the time. Due to the short circuit and freezing ADI, they didn't notice the mistake. Then, at 8:56 p.m., they started correcting the incorrect left bank by banking right. The display was still frozen at the time, and by this point, the aircraft was at an almost 90-degree angle before the display showcased the real bank angle of the aircraft. The aircraft then entered an almost unrecoverable dive until it started going past the speed of sound. During this dive at around 10,000 feet, the aircraft started to break apart, and as it did so, fuel from the wings and engines ignited as the aircraft broke apart and crashed into a remote part of Panama, or more or less the entire continent, called the Darien Gap. And because the aircraft crashed into the jungle at almost 900 kilometers per hour, or 486 knots, while being set ablaze, all occupants on board were killed instantly. 1 minute later, after the aircraft had crashed into the Darien jungle, ATC had attempted to contact Flight 201 but was unable to do so. Only when a nearby KLM DC-10 reported that they had intercepted a distress signal from Flight 201's responders somewhere near the Colombian border in Darien, near the village of Tucuti, ATC had declared a full emergency in the airport and had informed Bogota Center about the missing plane. Then, next day at the dawn of June 7th, rescue personnel headed towards the crash site. However, due to how remote and dense the jungle was and how difficult it was to access, it took 12 hours for the personnel to reach the site, with some rescuers and investigators getting injured on the way there. The debris field was scattered in a radius of 10 kilometers due to the fact that it started breaking apart in midair. Bodies and wreckage were spread throughout the debris field and were buried under some trees. Recovering the wreckage and bodies was difficult, but after which the investigation had begun. Both flight recorders were recovered and retrieved before being sent to the United States for analysis. Although the CVR was found to be broken from a maintenance error, while it was repaired, it only showed the recording from another flight. But there was better luck with the FDR. Although the FDR had showed the aircraft suddenly banking left and right in less than a second, which was unprecedented for a commercial plane. And this was due to the ADI instruments malfunctioning mid-flight. Due to the fact that the wires were frayed from damage of long-term stress, this had caused a short circuit in the data flow from the pilot's side vertical gyro. And because the FDR had taken info from the pilot's side vertical gyro, it had displayed wrong information. This issue was also compounded in the accident flight itself, as in the aircraft there were 2 VGs, one on each pilot's side. And during the flight when problems emerged, the pilot switched the ADI to use the faulty vertical gyro as they had used an ineffective cross-checking procedure. This was confirmed when the switch of the ADI was found and was set on both VG1. As a result, the ADI would momentarily freeze. And in the case of Flight 21, the ADI froze when the plane seemed to be in a left turn, so the pilots had started banking right, with the ADI still unresponsive until it became too late, as the pilots were already in a near 90-degree bank which led to an unrecoverable dive. Although, the backup VG was found to be working and could have been used by the pilots, but as mentioned before, due to an ineffective cross-checking procedure, the backup VG was not used to identify the problem and start giving back reliable information to the ADI. Another factor leading to the crash is the ineffective ground training simulator program for Copa Airlines, due to it not presenting enough information relating to the differences between aircraft and crew resource management, also known as CRM, in order to give the crew enough knowledge to overcome an intermittent altitude indicator error and to maintain control of the plane using auxiliary ADI and VG instruments. In addition, in the plane, the pilots were trying to apply what they had learned from the simulator, but due to the movement of the position of both the VG1 along with lost info from the training, the reference for VG2 was lost and the pilots were unable to identify the problem. And furthermore, another contributor to the crash is the non-standard configuration of the cockpit in between aircraft in the fleet. Along with inconsistencies in the training simulator and aircraft, this had caused confusion to the pilots on finding what setting is used on the ADI switches. In summary, the 737-200 operating this flight had crashed from an unrecoverable dive after entering a near 90-degree bend from a malfunctioning ADI caused by things such as pilot error, ineffective training on the subject of altitude indicator errors, and others such as inconsistencies in training and stress-related damage. Overall, Copa Airlines Flight 201 is the deadliest plane crash in Panamanian and Copa Airlines history. Anyways, this is Copa Airlines Flight 201 explained minute by minute. Hey everyone, post-production nerdy here. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry it delayed me about 10 months, but yeah, Thanks for the patience, and if you want, you can join my Patreon if you want to help me support if you want to support me in making these videos. And also, I will try my best to at least finish the next ones, but for the next month or so, this might be the only one for a bit, because in a few days, I'm actually going to Dubai for a month. So, yeah, expect either crap posts or whatever, but I will still try doing minute by minute while I'm in Dubai. So, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I already have a few episodes planned out, so see you all in the next one. Bye!